Hello students, I welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1. This is our second revision lecture for fourth online assessment. So let us start with the revision. In the previous lecture, we have completed up to practice set 4.1. You know that your fourth line assessment is there in next week, and for that you have chapter number 4, that is ratio and proportion. Okay, so we have completed up to practice set 4.1, and in that we have seen what is meaning of ratio, and we have seen properties of ratios, and all the questions based on these two topics we have solved. Now let us go further towards the next topic. Here the next topic is comparison of the ratios. When we have two ratios, A upon B and C upon D, then we can compare them. You know that whenever there are two ratios, only one and only one possibility is present there. That means either both the ratios are equal or one of them is greater than the other. So now let us see that which rules we should follow to decide the comparison or to do the comparison of the ratios. So here very first rule is, so before understanding the rule, we have to always go for cross multiplication, that you have to keep in mind. Because in rule you will find out AD and BC we are comparing. So how we are getting AD? We are doing cross multiplication here. Numerator of first ratio into denominator of second ratio, and then the numerator of second ratio into denominator of the first ratio. Okay. So here the first rule, if AD is greater than BC, then we can say that the first ratio is greater than the second one. Then second rule, if AD is less than BC, then the second ratio is greater. Simply you have to replace the same sign here. See, AD is greater than, so here also greater than sign is coming, and here AD is less than, so here also less than sign is coming. The first ratio is less than the other. And the third one, if AD is equal to BC, then both the ratios are equal. Okay, so here are the three rules to compare the ratios. Afterwards, then we have seen the solved examples from the textbook. All of you also go through those solved examples. Okay. Then the next is practice set 4.2. Now here we have to use property of the ratio. A upon B is equal to AK upon BK. That means we can multiply by the same non-zero number to both the terms of the ratio. Okay. And we have to find out the answers. So here you can see that four ratios are there. Out of that, first ratio is given, and from the remaining three ratios, one number is missing. So for these three ratios, we are going to do the multiplication separately. We are going to use this property separately. Okay, so first number here, dash upon 28. So this 28 we have to express by using the number 7. So 28 we can write as 7 into 4. Okay, that means here we are multiplying 7 by 4. So we have to multiply 5 also by 4, because this property AK upon BK, we have to multiply by the same number. So we got the number 20 upon 28. So the first missing number is found, that is 20. Similarly for second, here we have 35. Now this 35 we will express as a multiple of 5. So 35 we can write as 5 into 7. So if we are multiplying by 7 here in the numerator, we have to multiply in the denominator also. So we get the numbers here 35 upon 49. Next, now here we have 3.5. So 3.5 we have to multiply as we have to express as multiple of 7. We know that 7 5s are 35, but since point is there, we are taking 0.5. So 3.5 we can express as 7 into 0.5. Therefore, here in the numerator also we are multiplying by 0.5. So we got the answer 2.5. And finally, we are writing all the ratios together. Okay. So you have to find it separately, and then you have to write down the final answer here with the missing terms. Okay. See, like here you have 20. then here 49 and here 2.5. Similarly, you can solve the second one also. Okay, let us go further now. Second question, find the following ratios. Here, the word problems are given and you have to find out the ratio. The ratio of radius to circumference of the circle. So here, radius we are going to take as r, and therefore the circumference is going to be 2 pi r. You know the formula. Circumference of circle is equal to 2 pi r. Now we have to find out the ratio of radius to its circumference. So write down the ratio of radius to its circumference. So radius is given by r and is to 2 pi r. So from here we can clearly make out that r will get cancelled and we will get the ratio as 1 is to 2 pi. Similarly, you can find for the remaining. When I taught you, I have discussed all the sums. Okay, so similarly, you will solve them. I told that here now, for example, circumference and area is there. Their units are different and we have studied in properties that whenever we want to find out the ratios, their units should be same. So here we have to make a change. The ratio of circumference of the circle to the radius not. What we have to say is the ratio of numbers associated with circumference and area. We are taking only numbers. Okay. So that is why here the corrected statement is given by me. The ratio of the numbers denoting the circumference to the area of the circle of with radius r. Because circumference and area we cannot compare, their units are different. Okay. So you have to make a change. Okay. Same thing for statement number 3 and 4 also. There also you have the same perimeter and area. So there also you make a change. So this we have already discussed, so I am going further. Then just now we have seen the comparison and we have seen the three rules to compare the ratios. Okay, so let us try to understand them. I am taking the first question. First question, root 5 upon 3 and 3 upon root 7. As I have told you to go for cross multiplication here. Okay, so we have to do root 5 into root 7 and put a colon here and here 3 into 3. Okay, but what we can find here is in the left hand side root is present and here root is not present. And to compare the surds, their order should be same. This we have studied in chapter number 2, real numbers. That whenever we want to compare the surds, the order should be same. So while writing, we should write down in the same order. Now here root 5 into root 7, we are going to get root 35. But here 3 into 3, 9. So let us express that 9 as a square root. So I can say that the square root of 81 is 9 or square of 9 is 81. So 9 I will express as square root of 81. Now see, their order is same to both the places. So I can compare the radicands. I can clearly say that root 35 is less than root 81 and therefore the first ratio is less than the second ratio. Okay, so this way you are going to compare it. Similarly, you can solve second one also. Here in second, you have 3 root 5 and 5 root 7 and here root 63 and root 125. See here these are mixed surds or they are in simplest form, but these two are not in simplest form. So here you convert them to simplest form. 63 you can write as 9 into 7 and 9 is a perfect square of 3. So 63 we can write down as 3 root 7. Similarly 125 is what? 25 into 5. So we can write down root 125 as 5 root 5. Now what we can observe here is we can divide both the sides here by 3 and we can multiply both the sides by 5. That means this 3 upon 5 they are present on both the sides. So we can remove them. So what we got now? Root 5 upon root 7 and root 7 upon root 5. Now clearly you can understand here that the second ratio is bigger. Why? Because 5 upon 7 is less than 7 upon 5. So clearly you can understand that here the second ratio is bigger. Even if you don't go for cross multiplication, you can write down the direct answer because the comparison is possible. And therefore we can say that the first ratio is less than the second ratio. Okay. So in this way you are going to do the comparison. Let us go further. Fourth one, ABCD is a parallelogram. The ratio of angle A and angle B of a parallelogram is 5:4. Find the measure of angle B. Such sums we have solved in practice set 4.1. That is why this sum was given as homework. Okay. So I hope you must have solved it. Next, the ratio of present ages of Albert and Salim is 5:9. 5 years hence, ratio of their ages will be 3:5. Find their present ages. So here two ratios are there. That is why I am discussing this sum. As I told you that always we have to start with the first statement of the ratio given. So that is the beginning of your question, that the ratio of present ages of Albert and Salim is 5:9. And from these, we can write down their present ages by taking the common multiple. I told you that the three statements are common here. The first statement from the question, then the second statement is let their common multiple be x. And from that, we can write down the present ages of Albert as 5 years and that of Salim as 9x years. Okay, so here both the places we are multiplying by x. So the present age of Albert is 5x years and that of Salim is 9x years. So we got the present ages. Now we have to make use of the given condition. 5 years hence means what? After 5 years. Ratio of their ages will be 3:5. That means here in present ages we have to add 5 and we will write down the new ratio. So write down according to the given condition. So we are adding 5 to both the places. See, 5x plus 5 and here 9x plus 5. That is equal to 3/5. Now, by doing the cross multiplication, you can get the answer of x. Already we have discussed this, so I am going little bit fast. After finding x, you have to make use of the statement which we have written in the beginning. So, the present age of Albert is 5x and Salim is 9x. So, to find out the value of 5x and 9x. So, 5x is equal to 5 into 5, that is 25, and 9x is equal to 9 into 5, that is 45. And finally, since it's a word problem, you have to write down the final answer as a statement. Therefore, the present age of Albert is 25 years and that of Salim is 45 years. Okay. Then after this, sub question number 3, 4, 5 from question number 4 and main question numbers 5, 6 and 7 are cancelled. So take a note of this. They are not going to come for evaluation. Let us go further. The next topic is now the operation on equal ratios. This is an important topic. Here we are going to see 5 different operations or 5 different properties. We have done them. So here what we are doing is we are taking 4 numbers A, B, C, D and we are assuming them as a positive integers. And from this we are going to write 2 ratios. The ratios are what? A upon B and C upon D. So the very first property is invertendo. If A upon B is equal to C upon D, then B upon A is equal to D upon C. We are inverting each ratio. See, here 2 equal ratios we are taking. That is why the heading is what? Operations on the equal ratios. Also you can speak them or you can denote them as the properties of the equal ratios. Okay. So, 2 equal ratios. So, we can invert them. So, the property is called as invertendo. A upon B is equal to C upon D. Then, B upon A is same as D upon C. The second property is alternando. Here, we are altering the positions of B and C. We are interchanging the positions of B and C. So, if A upon B is equal to C upon D, we can write it as A upon C is equal to B upon D. A and D are fixed, only we are altering the positions of B and C. So, this property is called as alternando. Then third property, componendo. So the to combine means what? To add. So here the word comes for adding. So if two ratios are given, A upon B is equal to C upon D, then we can write it as A plus B upon B is same as C plus D upon D. That means we are adding denominator to the numerator in the numerator, but the denominator we are keeping as it is. But the important thing is that whatever operation we are doing on left hand side, the same operation should be done on right hand side, because it's a equation. Since equal to sign is given, it's a equation, and you know that whatever changes we are doing, we should do on both the sides of equation. So this componendo we have to do on both the sides. So if A upon B is equal to C upon D, then A plus B upon B is equal to C plus D upon D. Then the next is dividendo. Similar property, only in place of plus sign we have minus sign. We are subtracting denominator from the numerator in the numerator. So A upon B is equal to C upon D. Then A minus B upon B is equal to C minus D upon D. And the last property, fifth property or fifth operation is combination of these two. The property is called as componendo dividendo. That means we are adding numerator and denominator in the numerator, and we are subtracting denominator from the numerator in the denominator. Okay, so this is combination of these two. If we divide here, then you will find that B and B will get cancelled and D will get cancelled, and we are going to get this property. So A plus B upon A minus B is equal to C plus D upon C minus D. This is called as componendo dividendo. But condition is what? A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. Because see, in denominator you have A minus B. If they are equal, then you will get 0 in denominator, which is not possible, which is not allowed. You know that 0 cannot come in denominator. We cannot divide any number by 0. So this is an important condition, that A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. After that, we have seen the solved examples from the textbook. There I taught you two methods to find the ratios. You also go through all the solved examples from the textbook as we have discussed them in our regular lectures, because the solved examples also can be asked for the evaluation. Okay, so all of you please go through all the solved examples. Here also the next topic is application of properties of equal ratios, and there are also the solved examples given. So you go through all these solved examples from the textbook. Then this activity just above practice set 4.3 is cancelled. It will not come for evaluation. You have to take a note of that. Then let us start with now practice set 4.3. Okay, so in practice set 4.3, this is important. Here how to find out the given ratios. If A upon B is equal to 7 upon 3, then find the values of the following ratios. As I have told you, you have to always observe the thing which you want to find out and see that which property is used here. Just now we have seen the 5 properties. Okay. So here which property is used, that you have to see. So by observing these here, clearly we can make out that the property of componendo and dividendo is used. See, 5a here also and here also. 3b here also and here. The terms are same, only they are separated by plus and minus sign. So we have to make use of componendo dividendo property. But we have to always start from what is given to us. Please don't start from here. You know that this is our final step. So A upon B is equal to 7 upon 3. Again do the observation here. 5a is numerator and 3b is denominator. So multiply both the sides by 5 upon 3. Why? Because we want 5a upon 3b. So we got 5a upon 3b as 35 upon 9. And then we are going to make use of the property componendo dividendo on both the sides. So 5a plus 3b upon 5a minus 3b is equal to Here also 35 plus 9 upon 35 minus 9, that is 44 upon 26, which we can reduce to 22 upon 13. Here one more method also is there. You can make use of that method also, but I told you that always you try to use the properties. Okay. Similarly, for the second question here, second question you can do by yourself as I have said. Third question I am discussing now here. So see, here we want to find out the value of a cube minus b cube upon b cube. So by observing this, we can make out that the property of dividendo is used. And we have to start with what is given to us, that is a upon b is equal to 7 upon 3. Dividendo is used, but the numerator is a cube and denominator is b cube. So here also we have to find out cubes. So we will take cubes on both the sides. So what we can write, a cube upon b cube is equal to 7 cube upon 3 cube. So we got it as 343 divided by 27. And then use the property dividendo on both the sides and you are going to get the answer. Okay. So this way you are going to solve it. Now question number 2, which is exactly opposite. Here we have to find a upon b. There in first question a upon b was provided. But now here we are provided with one equation and we have to find value of a upon b. So as I have said, always you have to start with what is given to you. So this is given to us 15a square plus 4b square upon 15a square minus 4b square is equal to 47 upon 7. Now focus on the target that we want to find out a upon b. That means we don't want b in numerator and we don't want a in denominator. So we have to use the property which we know. They are what? Invertendo, alternando, componendo, dividendo and componendo dividendo. But as I have said, whenever you find plus and minus sign like this here with the same terms, always you have to go for componendo dividendo. So you are going to make use of the property componendo dividendo. Componendo dividendo you are going to perform on both the sides. So I gave you the shortcut method. What I told you is that write the empty brackets always. Two empty brackets separated by the plus sign in numerator and two empty brackets separated by minus sign in denominator. Then in the first bracket, both the places you write down numerator. That means same terms should appear here in the first bracket. Because what is componendo dividendo? A plus b, a minus b. In hurry, you are writing numerator here and denominator here. You make a mistake there. So always write empty brackets and then go on filling them. In the first bracket, you will write numerator both the places. And in the second bracket, you will write down denominator. So clearly now you can observe that plus 4b square and minus 4b square will get cancelled in numerator. And in denominator 15a square and minus 15a square will get cancelled. Okay, so what we will get? 2 times 15a square. Purposely I wrote 2 times 15a square because 15a square and 15a square you can write 30 also. But then we are getting bigger numbers. So instead I am writing 2 times 15a square and in the denominator I am writing 2 times 4b square. So that 2 and 2 I can cancel very easily. And here 47 plus 7 54 and 47 minus 7 is 40. So here we can write a square upon b square as 54 upon 40 into 4 upon 15. See this 15 upon 4 we have shifted to right hand side. So exactly opposite number we are writing. This 4 in division went into multiplication and 15 in multiplication went into division. So when we simplify it like see 4 tens are 40. Okay, so you can write down 10 here. Then again you can reduce this 54 and 10 and that then you will get 27 upon 5 and here if you reduce then you are going to get the perfect square. we are going to again divide by 3 because here both the numbers are divisible by 3. So you are going to get the answer as 9 upon 25. A square upon B square is 9 upon 25 after doing the cancellations, which are perfect squares. So by taking the square root, I can write down A upon B as 3 upon 5. So after getting 3 upon 5 here, that means value of A upon B, it is possible for you to find all these ratios by using the same method which we have used in the first question. But here, exactly opposite thing you can observe that plus sign is there in denominator and minus is in numerator. So it is componendo dividendo done, but to get the final answer, invertendo is done. You have to keep that in mind. So you will make use of this value A upon B as 3 upon 5. You will get the desired ratio here by doing componendo and dividendo, but finally we want it in the reverse form. See, I got 5a plus 3b upon 5a minus 3b, but exactly I want the opposite thing. That is why I have to do one more extra step here, that is by invertendo. Okay, so this way you are going to solve it. Similarly, question number 4 also is solved by me. You can make out the similar steps are done, and finally one extra step is added, that is invertendo. Then question number 4, solve the following equations. These are very big equations here. Okay, you can find that the 3 numbers are there in numerator and 2 numbers are there in denominator, and presently they are not, the terms are not same also. That means directly componendo or dividendo is not going to help us. If we want to cancel certain terms here, we have to multiply by some number to the denominator. See, like here 3x we have here and 12x we have here. If we multiply here by 4, we are going to get 12x. And here if we multiply by 4, we are going to get 20. Okay. So we got that number that we should multiply the denominator by 4, or you can multiply by minus 4 also, so that you can get the reverse number, and simply by adding you can solve. If you are multiplying by plus 4, you have to go for dividendo. If you are multiplying by minus 4, you have to go for componendo. So your choice. Okay, so here I am simply multiplying by 1 upon 4 to both the sides. You know that whatever operation we perform on LHS, we should do it on RHS also. So after multiplying, we will get the similar terms in numerator and denominator. You can observe here both the places. And since their signs are same, we are going to choose the operation dividendo, that is subtraction. So subtracting denominator from numerator in the numerator, that we are going to do here. That means we are going to go for dividendo. Okay. So by dividendo, see, this is numerator minus denominator upon denominator as it is. Same thing here. So plus 12x and minus 12x will get cancelled. Minus 20 and minus into minus plus 20 will get cancelled. Similarly here also these two terms will get cancelled. And we can get the next term as only x square left out in the numerator here. And down, while writing this, again I am taking out 4 common, where I have multiplied here. Again I am taking out it common so that I can cancel it from both the sides. So here x square is present in numerator. So if I take the value of x as 0, then the equation is true. That means left hand side is equal to right hand side, and therefore x is equal to 0 is one solution. But if x is not equal to 0, then we can cancel this x square from both sides. 4 also is cancelled from both sides. So we can compare these two numbers as 3x minus 5 upon 2x plus 3. And after solving this, we get the value of x as 8. Therefore, this particular equation has two solutions. X is equal to 0 or x is equal to 8. Okay. In the same way, you can understand this question. So, we have to solve it same as 1. Do by yourself. Question number 3. Here see, now two brackets are given, and I told you that whenever you see plus or minus sign, always you are going to make use of componendo dividendo. So this step we got by doing componendo dividendo. Okay, once again I am not explaining because this is revision. So here you can see that numerator plus denominator, numerator minus denominator. I told you how to write it. Similarly on RHS. So see here the second term will get cancelled and here the first term will get cancelled. So 2 times the same bracket we got here. So 2 we can cut. So here also perfect squares, here also perfect square. So we can take the square root to get the answer. 2x plus 1 upon 2x minus 1 is equal to 5 upon 3. And then after doing cross multiplication, we can get the value of x. Okay, in this way you are going to solve the sum. And we can write down that here x is equal to 2 is the solution. Here we got only one solution because we were not having x square in numerator. It was totally different. So here we got only one solution. There we got two solutions because x square was present in numerator. Okay, so similarly, you are going to solve the next sum also. This sum is little bit different here, but it is also very easy. Here only this perfect square you will express as 2x plus 3 the whole square, and then you by doing the dividendo you can cancel the term and you will get the answer. Okay, so by dividendo you are going to cancel one term and then again you will find that the two perfect squares are present. So taking square root you will get the answer, and then by doing cross multiplication you can find the value of x. Okay, so in this way you are going to solve the sums. So I have discussed up to 4.3. You practice all the sums. Today I am stopping here. We will meet in next lecture. Till that, stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Thank you, students.